Caleb, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. I know you've been making the rounds. You've been everywhere this week. And this is because your book seems to have been banned by Amazon for all effects and purposes. So what happened?
Well, I wrote this book. I wrote it in 2020. It was published on August 31st in 2020, and it's about Kamala Harris. It was right after she had become the vice presidential candidate. I decided to write this book about a lot of research I had been doing on her, etc. So it's been for sale, and I sold between 2020 and on Monday, I sold about 595 copies of it. So not a huge seller. It made a little bit of a splash. It got a review in the Morning Star, which is the communist daily newspaper of the United Kingdom. It got a review in a couple newspapers in India, which totally surprised me. But I guess they watch RT in India. It's English language, so that they knew me from there, and Kamala's mother is from India, so that's where that happened. But other than that, it didn't really create a huge splash. I spoke to some web conferences about it, whatever. Not a big deal. 4 years have gone by. And then Kamala got the nomination. She ended up, Joe Biden stepped down on Sunday. Monday, the media was treating Kamala Harris as the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party. So I figured, okay, there'll be a bit of a boost in sales. And it did sell a little bit on Monday. And then at 7:26 p.m. Eastern time, I received an email. And it said that there was a problem with one of my books and that I would need to change the cover art. And I thought, well, that's weird. There hasn't been a cover. I checked, and it was the Kamala Harris book. And I checked because there hadn't been an issue with the cover in the last 4 years. It was, individually designed. The name of the designer is on the original edition. His name's Arthur Porter. He lives in Arizona. He's a friend of mine. And it's original artwork, but okay, there's an issue with the cover. All right. And I figured I want to get this out there because Kamala Harris is the talk of the town. So I just put a blank generic cover following one of their templates on it and resubmitted, rejected. And so I woke up in the morning, Tuesday morning, resubmitted, rejected. Every time I would send it in, about an hour later, it would be right back to me. And I thought, this is very, very strange. What in the world is going on here? So, I raised the alarm, and a lot of people smelled foul play. Max Blumenthal, others have spoken out. A lot of people from all across the political spectrum. This seems like pretty blatant censorship. So we put it on Lulu, and Lulu carried it until Thursday. And it's still on Lulu, but if you go to try and buy it, it won't let you process your credit card. If you buy it via PayPal or with your credit card, it says that the transaction just won't process. So right now I'm selling the PDF version of it on Gumroad, which is a website where you can sell electronic files. And I will say we've sold over 1,000 in the last week. This is
created. Jake, you want to throw up that link?
Yeah, this has created a huge amount of interest in the book. This isn't something I wrote for this election. I wrote it 4 years ago, and it's been out there all this time. The information in it is not unique. I quote Reason Magazine and their studies of Kamala Harris. I quote, Donald Harris, her father, his essays. I quote Kamala Harris's autobiography. it's not like I have some deep inside scoop of information. It's pretty weird that this got, just scooped up by Amazon all of a sudden. And then, Lulu did the same thing pretty quickly afterwards. So if you want it now, it's on Gumroad, and a lot of people are reading it and loving it.
Isn't Lulu kind of an alternative press for authors like yourself? Amazon's not a shock, but that seems very strange that they would have pulled it.
It does, and it's still listed. You cannot process your credit card transaction if you go to buy it, which is very, very strange. As of now, Lulu, the only reason that they've given me is they've said, well, so many people tried to buy it. Maybe there's an issue with the system or something. And I don't buy that. I have a hard time believing that one. Generally booksellers want to make money.
A
lot of people buying their products is something they tend to be happy about and want to enable to happen. And the fact that it hasn't been fixed, and I continue to get people tweeting at me, tried to buy it on Lulu, was unable to buy it on Lulu. The other thing that was weird is when they took it down from Amazon.
Especially an alternative press like that. Like, how many hits do they get where they could potentially sell tens of thousands of books?
Right. The other thing that's weird is when they took it down from Amazon, you know, occasionally if you sell on Amazon, there'll be a bit of a snafu with a book that, or something. What they generally do is the page remains up. It just says, this is currently unavailable, title currently unavailable. Not this one. All the links leading to the Amazon page are completely blank. It just says it's been completely scrubbed from Amazon. Now, you can still read the reviews on Goodreads that it got, and it got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Goodreads.com. Those reviews are still up there, and you can read what people had to say about it. They all loved it. So it looks very, very, very much like censorship because it happened the day after, or I guess the day that she became the presumptive nominee, the day after Biden dropped out. So at this point, I'm appreciating the fact that so many people are reading it, and it seems like this has backfired. But I still have questions about, how this happened. Why? I mean, Max Blumenthal suggested that this could have come from an order from the White House because this matches kind of the way a lot of COVID related books were removed. So this is certainly something to be concerned about. Now, a number of people have said to me, this could be an FEC violation. Because if books critical of one candidate are being removed while there's a million I Hate Donald Trump books on Amazon. And you'll notice there are not very many books critical of Kamala Harris on Amazon or that have been published in general. I mean, there's one book, it's called Amateur Hour. It was printed by the Washington Times Press last year, I believe, or maybe it was earlier this year. I did read it and I learned a lot from it. But there's not much that's critical of her. There's not much about her at all. And that's what's so weird, right? With Barack Obama, we knew everything there was to know about him. His mom, his dad, his pastor, his school in Indonesia, his stepfather, everything. But with Kamala Harris, we just know that she's been in Congress. She's the vice president. And now they expect us to all just go to the polls and make her president. And the media has been in overdrive doing, really fake and lacking in substance stories about how much everyone loves her, informing us that we love her. So we should love her because we already love her.
Please clap.